Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes. This day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Okay, the camera is working. How are you all doing? I'm just checking my audio levels there. Okay, I hope you're having a good night. We are having a hailstorm. It seems to have stopped, but if all of a sudden it sounds like, Sodom and Gomorrah here, like we're getting rained down from heaven, that's what's going on. Let's do the YouTuber thing here a second. Let's see. Between where I gotta look depends upon whether I need my glasses or not. If you are, well, I don't care if you're watching for the first time or not. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I would truly, truly appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's gotten spicier and spicier. And what's funny is, I'm an equal opportunity criticizer. If y'all watched my Rumble stream yesterday, I was pretty much defending a certain affiliate, but they don't know when enough is enough, and I've gone over the line. So we'll see the way it is tomorrow. I'll be doing a show on that eventually. Right now, to be honest, if I look a little pinched, if I've got that pinched look, it's because I've got a freaking migraine. I've got a terrible migraine. I've got the Twitter migraine. I got a tweegraine. It's not good, but I wanted to do a show tonight, and didn't want to do that. I want to do that. Come on. No, don't go back. Get back. Get back. All right, the last thing is I do appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this type of bizarre content, please support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. Or, of course, all super chats matter, all super thanks matter. And now Ecamm is letting me put the full normal low bar stuff like over on Facebook, and people have seen everything that goes on YouTube. And I actually got the question, because if you read my show descriptions, you'll notice that I give an address in case you wish to send me a ham. And somebody asked, has anyone ever sent you a ham? And yes, in fact, someone has sent me a ham. Tom Arnold has sent me a ham. I should have queued up the clip about somebody send me a ham. But yes, I did get sent a ham, and it was quite delicious. Wayne and I, it was a big ham too. We enjoyed it. It was a Tennessee smoked ham. So, in order to answer that burning question, I have been sent a ham, and you too can send me a ham. The address is below. Okay, we're going to get right to the Ben Shapiro content. I like to set this up a bit because they are clips. They are somewhat taken out of context. And I will admit, the title is a little clickbaity. No, not me. Not me being polemic and hyperbolic. I didn't really know how to title it. It was just some odd clips that I just wanted to talk about. I don't even have my thoughts entirely organized. It's scary up here. You don't. He did a show on the 4th of July, and he asked why, I don't know if he worded it as progressives or Democrats. I think he said, why do Democrats celebrate the 4th of July? But he was meaning more people on the left side of the spectrum. Of course, what is supremely annoying about Ben, there's multiple things that are supremely annoying about Ben, but one of the things that's supremely annoying about him is what a lot of commentators do. You're either a Republican, a Democrat, or a independent. I'm not independent, Ben, and I'm not either of those two either. It's like their brains just can't comprehend that there is a whole other universe out there. Not everybody who doesn't agree with your club or the other club is an independent. I am far from independent. Like, in his world, you could put me and somebody from the Socialist Workers' Party like next to each other, and we're both independents. That is barking moonbat. And I just noticed, like, I feel like I'm like some kind of teacher here, just around with my little marker. Yes, I do write in pink. All my pens are pink. Big surprise, I know. But sometimes I don't remember what I want to say when I'm watching clips. And I have a little notepad here, and it reminds me I want to say, and this is the cutest little notepad. I want to show you this. Tell me that's not adorable and perfect for me. Shit, I just dropped my glasses. Hold on. JJ's used to me with the pen and the notepad, though, because I do that when I'm chairing meetings to keep track of who's talking next or a debate point. Like when people are talking, I do try to pay attention. So rather than having my mind occupied about what I want to say when it's my turn, I just write it down so that I can continue to pay attention to what they're saying. Okay, I want to take a sip of my, what is this? Simply Spiked Peach. Wayne bought this for me, and it was like a 12-pack, I think, and there's only like 4 left. So yeah, like he bought it for me. Yeah, it's like when Homer Simpson bought Marge the bowling ball with his name engraved on it. But it's delicious, even though I've only gotten a couple of them. All right, are we ready for Ben Shapiro? I think we are. Let's go, and I'm going to go over to this other camera because I kind of like that for making YouTube shorts, even though some people are like, hey, the camera angle. Bite me. Okay, here we go. First clip.
Independence being proud of America, that's been on a steady state of decline since essentially 2001. In fact, if you go all the way back to 2001, more Democrats than independents said that they were extremely proud to be American. But the bottom line is there's this massive partisan gap in who exactly is extremely proud to be American, and it's been existing for a very long time.
Okay. So I, of course, am conflating in my title being a good American with being proud of being an American or proud of your country type of thing. And he's relying on these polls. And I do think the polls are very interesting. But notice you are either a Democrat or Republican or a independent. And he talked about how being proud of the country or being proud of being an American has declined with independents and Democrats. Now, I'm going to put the Democrats aside because it's not my tribe, and frankly, I don't care. But did you think, Ben, because this never comes up in his equation, did it ever occur to you, Ben, that lumping everybody who doesn't fit into one of your two boxes as an independent, as this amorphous blob, is one reason why we might not be too happy? Because we do not feel heard and we do not feel represented? Do you think that might be a slight part of it, Ben? I don't know. But anyway, there's also, though, how do you define, and he's going to get into it, and boy, is he going to be a bootlicker in the last clip, but how do you define being proud of your country or being proud of being an American? And this is such a real slippery thing that even I have a real tough time defining and talking about, because I'm not patriotic in the slightest in the normal sense of the word. So I like to try to differentiate. I think there's something inherently baked into human nature to have a special love and kinship with the land, the physical country in which you were born, and also physically the countrymen that you're born with, and the culture and your traditions. Whether we like it or not, that is just something that's baked into human nature. So when the question comes up, do you love your country? To some people, that implies all the jingoistic patriotism. And when it comes to that, my answer to that is firmly no. But when it comes to your fellow people, your countrymen, the land, your traditions, your culture, yes, I do love that. But it's such a loaded question, and you never really know how people are referring to it. I find love of the abstract country, because it's America, and these colors don't run, I find that to be extremely idolatrous. So in the sense that I love my country is the exact same sense I would love my country if I was born somewhere else too. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't think things could be better, but I think that's different from what Ben means. And he does mean it in more of a political sense, so I'm going to deal with this more in a political sense than in the existential sense I was just talking about. So in the political sense, not surprising, independents are not satisfied, because we're the afterthought. We're the swing vote, but we don't count any other time. We're not represented any other time. And you wonder why we're a little bit of salty bitches about it. That's why. That's why, Ben. Okay, next clip.
There are studies that demonstrate that attendance at a 4th of July parade is a pretty good indicator. It correlates very highly with Republican identity. Republicans tend to be flag wavers. They tend to be more patriotic. Why? Well, because they actually like the founding of the United States of America. They think that the country was founded on proper values. They think there is something here worth conserving, because they are, in fact, conservative. And if you're on the left and you feel that America is basically a terrible place filled with oppression, racism, genocide, xenophobia, homophobia, and all the rest, what exactly is it that you are proud of? Well, the decline in generalized patriotism in the United States is across the board. So if you look at even the Republican stats, back in 2000, some 60% of Republicans said they were extremely proud to be American. That jumped all the way up to about 90% in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. And it took all the way until now to hit 60%, again, to drive all the way down to 60%. That is because there is tremendous feeling that the country is coming apart.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of the sound. Okay, let's start over. He said a lot of things that I need to remember to do that. I need to put a big note up here. He said a lot of things that were very true, some things that were kind of revealing of where he is coming from. So it's obvious now in context that he is talking about the more jingoistic type of patriotism, because he seemed like almost gleeful in the fact that being proud to be an American went up to like 90% after September 11th. Why? Because we were united being against the other, against the common enemy. And that is the type of very tribal mob mentality jingoism that really turns my stomach. I was an adult during that time. I remember it well. I know some of my listeners were very young. I remember getting caught up in it. And that's one of the things that turned me into the type of attitude I have now, quite frankly. That was frightening on how easy it was to unite us behind a blind America can never be wrong type mentality. And that's why it took so much guts. Was it Harry Brown, the day after September 11th, on September 12th, basically, oh crap, what was the title of that article? You guys remind me. But it was something like, we should have seen this coming, or like this was inevitable. And he was almost condemned like a Hanoi Jane for that. I'm trying to find the name of that. That was Harry Brown. I wouldn't call it a speech because it was a paper article on September 11th. Harry Brown's famous 9/12 letter. Let's see. When will we learn? That is what it was called. And so it's so surprising that 90% of people were proud to be an American, yet here's what Harry Brown had to say. And I'm going to go to the other screen here for a minute. I didn't plan on reading this article, but I think it is super important. So he published this on September 12th, 2001. Think about the testicular fortitude it took to do that on the day after 9/11. And boy, was he villainized for this. He said the terrorist attacks against America comprise a horrible tragedy, but they shouldn't be a surprise. It is well known that in war, the first casualty is truth, that during any war, truth is forsaken for propaganda. But sanity was a prior casualty. It was the loss of sanity that led to war in the first place. Our foreign policy has been insane for decades. It was only a matter of time until Americans would have to suffer personally for it. It is a terrible tragedy of life that the innocent so often have to suffer for the sins of the guilty. When will we learn that we can't allow our politicians to bully the world without someone bullying back eventually? President Bush has authorized continued bombing of innocent people in Iraq. President Clinton bombed innocent people in the Sudan, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Serbia. President Bush Sr. invaded Iraq and Panama. President Reagan bombed innocent people in Libya and invaded Grenada. And on it goes. Did we think that people who lost their families and friends and property and all that destruction would love America for what happened? When will we learn that violence always begets violence? And there's more, and I'm going to read the whole thing because this is such a powerful letter. And it speaks to us today. Do you think we can send cluster bombs to Ukraine and there be no blowback for that? Teaching lessons. Supposedly Reagan bombed Libya to teach, I can never pronounce these names, sorry, Muammar Gaddafi. I know I'm mispronouncing that, so sorry. I'm terrible with American names, never mind ones that are in a foreign tongue. A lesson about terrorism. But shortly thereafter, a Pan Am plane was destroyed over Scotland, and our government is convinced it was Libyans who did it. When will we learn that teaching someone a lesson never teaches anything but resentment, that it only inspires the recipient to greater acts of defiance? How many times on Tuesday did we hear someone describe the terrorist attacks as cowardly acts? And here's where he got in trouble. And I've got in trouble for saying this. And Bill Maher got in trouble for saying this. And Harry Brown got in trouble for saying this. But as misguided and despicable as they were anything but cowardly. The people who committed them knowingly gave their lives for whatever stupid beliefs they held. But what about the American presidents who order bombings of innocent people? While the presidents remain completely insulated from any danger, what would you call their acts? I would call them cowardly. Just like I call Nina Turner calling to steal from other people for the thing she wants, slavery. When will we learn that forsaken truth and reason in the heat of battle almost always assures that we will lose the battle? And now, as sure as night follows day, we will be told we must give up more of our freedoms to avenge what never should have happened in the first place. When will we learn that it makes no sense to give up our freedoms in the name of freedom? My God. What should be done? First of all, stop the hysteria. Stand back and ask how this could have happened. Ask how a prosperous country isolated by 2 oceans could have so embroiled itself in other people's business that someone would want to do us harm. Even sitting in the middle of Europe, Switzerland isn't beset by terrorist attacks because the Swiss mind their own business. Second, resolve that we won't let our leaders use this occasion to commit their own terrorist acts upon more innocent people, foreign and domestic, that will inspire more terrorist attacks in the future. Third, find a way with enforceable constitutional limits to prevent our leaders from ever again provoking this kind of anger against America. And then the last thing he goes is patriotism, ? There are those who will say this article is unpatriotic and un-American, and I bet you Ben Shapiro would have said that. I could be wrong, but that's my prediction. That this is not a time to question our country or our leaders. When will we learn that without freedom and sanity, there is no reason to be patriotic? What an excellent, excellent article. We're going to go back to over here. So, yeah, in that sense of the word, I would agree. So I think Ben would define things differently. And that is why 90% of people were more proud to be an American after 9/11. And there was absolutely no reason to be. That doesn't mean the people who died deserved it. And that's the craziness that is going on in the present discussion over the Ukraine situation. To say that we were an instigator in that doesn't mean that you support Putin, any more than saying that we were an instigator in the fact that people felt compelled in some stupid way to come here and fly planes into a building meant that we support them. But it is important to understand the reasons for things, but we get all up in our feels and can't think rationally. Whew. Okay, let's go to the next clip. Didn't expect to get all lathered up.
So, again, for a lot of Democrats, they only are into celebrating America when they are getting the things that they want. And when it comes to the fundamental principles of America, not so much.
Okay, I remembered. Well, okay. I see what he's saying and I don't see what he's saying. So he's trying to make it like they're fair weather friends, fair weather patriots. Well, but in a way, and I obviously don't agree with what Democrats want, but in a way, why would you be proud of a country that is doing things that you think are horrible? Now, I'm not agreeing with the Democrats' criticisms, but if you were a person who believed those criticisms, then their reaction is completely proper. Now, Ben will, and this is true, what I'm going to say, that Ben will walk it back to. It is true for some Democrats or progressives, but it's not true for all. He will say that, well, it's because they hate the very founding of the country, and that might be true for some progressives. But I know plenty of Democrats that's not true. And they're not proud because they think we have strayed from the ideals. And Ben seems to think it's only conservatives who believe in the ideals that the country was allegedly founded on. You know, a lot of these discussions really come down to what Jonathan Haidt talked about, which, you know, as I said, I'm a bit of a soft political determinist, but it's the differing internal values, not necessarily a demonization of one side or the other. They just have different internal priorities for what they value. Next clip, and we don't have very many. I've been doing shorter ones this time.
And that's a real problem, folks. Ben & Jerry's on the corporate level is a great indicator of this sort of thinking. So Ben & Jerry's put out a tweet that says, quote, "This 4th of July, it's high time we recognize the United States exists on stolen indigenous land and commit to returning it. Learn more and take action now." Which is interesting because Ben & Jerry's has a very nice headquarters over in Vermont. They can turn that back over to one of the local Native American tribes anytime. Anytime. It's all virtue signaling, but it really isn't virtue that's being signaled. It's stupidity that's being signaled. So what does this really mean? Well, it means for the left, what the 4th of July is about, if you're going to celebrate it, is America as platform. It's not America as principles, place of creed. It's America as platform. America is a place where I can say the things I want to fundamentally transform the United States into a place that does things that I want it to do. It's not that America is worthy of upholding whether or not you win. You don't believe in the system. You only believe in you getting your way.
Okay, here's where Ben's just being a roaring hypocrite. It's America's platform as well. So when he's saying that even if they're not getting their way, that conservatives tend to be more patriotic in the sense of the word that he's saying, it's because they believe in the possibility of the platform that they will get. Now, Democrats, according to this poll, may be more volatile as to whether or not they presently possess that platform, but make no bones about it. Everyone believes in America as a platform, which is one reason why I say we're too big not to fail, because there is no way that such a huge geographic region with so many different subcultures, tastes, wants, needs, desires, communities can all win, can all have the platform. And for all of his signaling, his virtue signaling, it is all about platform for him as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's about platform for everybody. That's why you don't give anybody the force of the government gun. But he says this is a big problem. Okay, I agree it's a big problem, but it's not a problem with the people. It's inherent in the fact that this is just untenable. It's untenable. The system that we have now, the largeness that we have now, is incompatible with the principles of freedom. Now, I can't mind the subjunctive and, do like my parallel universe. Well, what if we really did stick to the original idea of being a confederation of states? Would it have worked then? I don't know. None of us know. When you have your alternative reality machine, let me know. All I know is we got to deal with what we have now, and what we have now is unworkable. It is a problem, but it's not a problem with the people, with the Democrats, as Ben would like to put it. I'd like the Democrats to have their Democrat paradise. I'd like the theocrats to have their theocratic paradise, as long as people could, voluntarily leave. For the libertarians to have their everyone to win. And that is, in fact, possible if we start moving towards peaceful, voluntary solutions. Okay. Next scene. I think we got, was that the last clip? No, we got a couple more.
Right? This is the difference between believing in any system and not believing in the system. So to take an example, I hate the IRS. I pay my taxes. And you know what? It's not just because I'm afraid that the IRS would audit me, although, let's be real, I'm a prominent conservative figure. There's a good shot they would audit me. The reason I pay my taxes is because I am part of the system. This is the system in which I live. I believe in the system even when I don't get the outcome that I like. And I don't believe that if a law is legally passed in the United States, that I just get to disobey it. The reason that people believe in the authority of a system is not because they agree with every decision.
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. Sorry. Okay, guys, stop right there. We're gonna back up. Nah, I'll just recap what he said. I'm sorry. You guys got to keep reminding me about the sound. So Ben had said, just because a law is wrong, like, or he doesn't agree with it, it doesn't mean he gets to disobey it. But he believes in the system. That's called idolatry, Ben. And that makes you immoral. You want to know what was legal at one time, just like the IRS is legal today, Ben? Slavery. Would you think that you would have gotten to flout the law and not return the runaway slave because you believe in the system? And what do we have if we don't believe in the system, Ben? That makes you a freaking terrible person and an idolatrous person. So we all must say the emperor has clothes, because if no one believes it anymore, well, it might fall apart. Well, maybe it should fall apart. Blind faith in the system, Ben, is not a virtue. There's that meme. I wish I had it up on the screen where it's got Jim Jones saying, the Kool-Aid won't work unless everybody drinks it. This is like, did you see shows like this that are professionally produced? Like live shows, I know people put their foot in their mouth. I do live shows. I put my foot in my mouth all the time. These are heavily produced. Somebody had to go back and hear that and go, yeah, that sounds right. Let's hear that again, because this is just like frankly horrifying.
To disobey it.
Oh, hold on.
The reason...
Let's go back. Here we go.
And I don't believe that if a law is legally passed in the United States, that I just get to disobey it. The reason that people believe in the authority of a system is not because they agree with every decision that's made by the authorities in the system. It's because they believe that the system is better than any alternative. They believe that there is no alternative system that is going to operate better than that, and that change has to come, if it's going to come, from within the system, not from without the system.
Okay, if the system is good and you can't disobey it because you believe in the system, but the only way you can change the system is within the system, what if the system tells you you can't change the system? Is it then okay to disobey? Ben, this isn't saying what you think it should be saying. This is quite terrible. I would say it's and it's crap like this kind of crap, this kind of America, I am not proud of. I am proud of the America represented by our new convention slogan, Become Ungovernable, and that it is your moral duty to disobey unjust laws. Whew.
Now, Democrats, even progressive Democrats, used to believe that. But I don't think that's the case anymore. Democrats now seem to believe that the only time that the system is justified in any way, shape...
Okay, I'm going to stop and say, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for Democrats, Oh yeah, I need my make it make sense one. Where's my make it make sense?
Make it make sense.
I know there was allegedly that shift between the Republicans and the Democrats, but good thing the old-timey Republicans didn't think that, or they wouldn't have been abolitionists. Good thing, Ben, the Patriots, as we call them, who had the Revolutionary War, didn't believe on it. Pay your damn tea taxes. It's the system. Go petition the crown. If it may please the crown, may I have lower taxes on my tea? What a bootlicker.
Performance when they are in the White House, when they are in control of the levers of power. That's not the way that loyalty works. That is not the way that patriotism works. And no country can actually be upheld if you only believe in the system when it gives you the things that you want.
How about you only believe in the system when you think it's moral and just, and you don't believe in the system when it's immoral and unjust? That's what makes you a decent person. Not just following orders. You realize, Ben, that, and I know this is super, super insensitive to say, but you want to know what? The discussions over the past few days on Twitter have led me to believe that our commitment to sensitivity is blunting our commitment to truth. I'm obviously not trying to impugn, imply, or say anything terrible about Ben in this, but if we go back to evil Germany, there were plenty of people back then who did nothing because they believed in the system, and look what it did to your people.
The same way that no family can be upheld if you only love your parents when they give you the stuff that you want. If you only love your spouse when your spouse gives you the things that you want. You have to believe in the institution of the marriage in order for a marriage to last. It can't just be, you're not giving me what I want right now, I'm out.
Okay, so what if, so you still believe in the, it's not as simple as getting what you want. What if your spouse is beating the crap out of you? I believe in the institution. You want to know what, Ben? Now, I was never physically beaten, but I was abused in other ways, and I was told, nope, you just gotta believe in it and stay there. Well, I'm sorry, that's some hot garbage, and you know where you can put that. Yes, in some cases, what you're saying makes some kind of sense when you're dealing with the little things. But there are larger things. And Liberty had said in chat, I want to put this up on the screen here a moment. I don't think government is his daddy in that analogy. I think government is his God. It's so simplistic because it's not entirely and always wrong. And that's part of the problem. Hey, that was a Dave Smith allusion. Okay, let's go back to... Nope, wrong one. It's because I never switched it back. Here we go. Back to right here. So that's really all I wanted to discuss for this evening. I know everyone is waiting for me to do the Nina Turner episode, which I am going to do. I was actually quoted in a New Republic article. Now, the article itself was, horrible towards libertarians and called us all kinds of names. But I'm going to give the New Republic a little bit of credit, because in the midst of their completely misrepresenting our philosophy and calling us horrible names, they quoted me twice. And the first one could have been yanked out of context and just spun really terribly. I think they made a mistake in their little propaganda machine by giving my second tweet, because my second tweet was actually fair that they included it. I'll give them credit for including it. It explained what I meant. And in the midst of all of their propaganda, there's going to be some people that read that, and at first they're going to be all lathered up by all the propaganda, and then they're going to go, wait. And they're going to read again what I said and go, yeah, but what she just said there made a little bit of sense. And it's going to be the brainworm. and I mean that in the good way, the stone in the shoe, as it were, that will make some people libertarian, because they'll realize the rest of it was a caricature. But I'm going to do a whole show on that. I'm waiting for all of the drama to play out, because I want to be able to comment accurately on the things said I agree with and the things said I disagree with. Because, you know, New Hampshire, as usual, started this. And in the beginning, even though I didn't care for their tweet, I thought it was pretty tasteless, I was on their side. But they kind of jumped off the ledge today, and we'll see what else happens. That's why I don't normally comment on things until some time has passed. First, to gather all of the facts and to see the way the chessboard lays out. But in any event, I am going to be doing that. I'm kind of like, I don't want to say forced, like I'm not coerced, but I kind of have to now that I was quoted in that article. And no, Dave, the only people that were quoted were the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, the National Libertarian Party, and myself. And I was quoted twice. So anyway, and it's all about Nina Turner and her awful takes. And I make zero apologies for saying that Nina Turner is advocating modern slavery. And anyone can be offended at that if they wish. And I will defend that proposition. Okay, that is, I think, it for today. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to see if there's any... Damn bra strap. If there's any further comments in chat, and remember, super chats are always welcome. And hopefully I got some clips, good clips out of this, because my YouTube shorts have been doing really well. And Milo, we'll talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm not going to get too much into this New Hampshire thing. We're going to do a whole show on it, but I really appreciated what you just said. So Milo said, I was rather disappointed in that tweet at first, but I have to admit they have everyone talking about it now, so it worked. And I agree with you. I did not like the initial tweet. Now, I didn't get all freaked out. There's certain things, and it's just could be my upbringing, my sensitivities, whatever, that I think unless you're a stand-up comic, you don't get tasteless about. But being tasteless isn't being racist. However, they started a national conversation. They could have done something very nice and sweet and typical libertarian or whatever, and it would have gotten 12 likes and been forgotten 34 hours ago. They started a conversation that was valuable. Unfortunately, they built this nest, and today they shit in the nest a little bit. And I'm a bit salty about that, but okay, whatever. You know, I'm friends with the people out there. They can take my compliments. They can take my criticisms. But it did start a conversation that would not have been had otherwise. And I can tell you, sometime in the 70s, I can't give you the circumstance because I don't even know for a fact what I'm saying is correct, but I can intuit it's true. Somehow, somewhere, somebody said taxation is theft, and I'm sure it was super offensive, but it started a conversation that is continuing until this day. And what New Hampshire did is the forced, that taxation is essentially slavery, is now the new buzz phrase. And that is, you got to give New Hampshire credit for that. And it's true. Though I think we have to be able to explain it because it's not quite as obvious as taxation is theft. Which is why I liked to say, and what I said in my tweets, is that it's modern day slavery with extra steps, because it is not the same as chattel slavery, which is what people think about. But we'll get into that in another show. I'm going to be doing that show on Rumble because it's a little bit of a freer platform. But, you know, I will defend what I had to say. I'm not going to defend everything that anyone else would have had to say. But it certainly did start a conversation, and I think Nina will never go unchallenged now. And we like talking about disparities of power and things like that. You like talking about intersectionality. Well, you want to know where the intersectionality is there? She's a former politician who has power, and she has a lot of money. She has power, and it is important to speak truth to power. Yes, minorities can have power. Shocking, I know. Okay, that is going to be it for this evening. I hope you have a good night. Again, I do appreciate all support. Patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty, and super chats and super thanks. I'm pushing that right now because of the sensitive topic here at the end. I am not hitting monetization on this video. I am always very careful what videos I hit yes or no on. If there's a subject matter that, you know, because those of you who aren't YouTube creators, you don't know when you hit, when you submit all your background information on the video, you have to do this checklist of whether you and your judgment thinks it meets advertiser-friendly criteria. And sensitive topics, super sensitive topics, disqualify. So if you think you get extra points from YouTube if you voluntarily say no monetization on a video, rather than them having to come after the fact and demonetize you. So I'm hitting monetization no on this video because of the sensitive topic that was discussed at the very end. YouTube would love me going after Ben Shapiro every day of the week and twice on Sunday, but going after Nina Turner, that's not a popular thing to do on YouTube. Okay, I will see you all soon. Not sure if tomorrow I'm going out and candidate recruiting in Castle Pines, and then we have a Mises meetup, and tomorrow's a deadline for a set of minutes. I've been like really uninspired lately. I mean, not uninspired for this channel, quite obviously, but honestly, I need to get the fire back on my belly to do like my secretary stuff. The Debbie Downers have downed this Debbie a little bit, and I need to reclaim my joy. So I'm going to force myself to do the minutes tomorrow, but hopefully I'll get the pep back. All right, y'all have an awesome night. Bye-bye.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business.